Coming up in today's video, we are going to be talking about an AEW wrestler being removed from television. Also, ROH wrestlers are reportedly not happy. And we got to talk about Triple H trying to sign somebody from WWE. You might not like my opinion, but you're going to have to hear it in this one. So we're going to kick things off. We're going to talk about Ring of Honor. And please don't hate me, but I don't think there's actually an issue with this. So here's the thing. Ring of Honor, first weekend of tapings, right? Obviously, people were brought in and not being used. According to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, many wrestlers were frustrated with not being used at the tapings after they canceled their weekend bookings on the indies. Meltzer then wrote, a lot of the guys canceled their weekend booking on the indie shows, and they did get paid more than they would have made on the indie shows, so that's not an issue. But the frustration was of guys being brought in and not being used. One independent promoter also told Meltzer that he lost 4 of his top stars so they could work the tapings and none of them were used. The promoter wasn't upset about the talent not being able to make the shows, as he understands if they appeared on ROH TV, it's better for exposure for his own promotion. It was also noted that Dak Draper was one name that was known to be backstage and not being used. Now here's the thing. I'm here to defend Tony Khan. In this situation, there is definitely room for improvement, especially when I believe it hurts the indie scene that Tony Khan, because I do believe this. I believe if you're taking people from the indies after they've been advertised and you're using them for Ring of Honor, I believe that hurts the indie scene, okay? I also think it hurts the relationships with the wrestlers. But Tony Khan still paid the talent, okay? And the talent still got paid more for working, or not working, I should say, than they would have got paid for working the indies. Now, I understand that talent are going to be frustrated, and that's fine. I mean, you have the right to feel that way, obviously. But I think everybody could kind of learn from WWE, and WWE also needs to learn from WWE. Don't get it twisted. WWE is not an angel in this situation, but they did something for Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson in recent months. And honestly, if you could make it happen with effective planning, it could work across the board for everybody. This should not be an issue with Impact in AEW and WWE. Okay, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows have a clause within their contract that came out about a month ago through various reports that basically they don't have to show up to pay-per-views or television tapings if they're not being used. And if WWE applies that to every wrestler, and if AEW applies that to every wrestler, and if Ring of Honor applies that to every wrestler, and if Impact Wrestling applies that to every wrestler, then everybody will have this expectation that they don't have to travel or do anything because they're not going to be used. So at the end of the day, I see a lot of people that are trying to talk shit about Tony Khan on this, but the point of being non-biased and the point of not having like a specific flag for a wrestling company, like the reason why I don't carry one company's flag is because it's not fair. So at the end of the day, Ring of Honor talent reportedly not happy. I understand not being happy because you can't wrestle, but at the end of the day, you got paid more than you were supposed to. It's the first tapings. Like, who knows how it was supposed to go down? Now, maybe this won't be a mistake that Tony Khan will make. So just kind of keep that in mind. With that being said, I want to turn our attention to Commander. You guys may have seen him on AEW Dynamite, and this is where I do have a little bit of an issue with AEW. So Commander was brought in, and basically WWE is reportedly interested. At least according to Dave Meltzer, he is now on WWE's radar, and this is very interesting. So Commander, who debuted on Dynamite in the ladder match with no buildup at all, was not under contract when put on the show and is very much on the WWE radar. Meltzer also added that Commander is currently under contract with the Chaos promotion in Mexico, although it's unclear what the deal is, whether that be on a full-time or per-show basis. So here is the thing. And I've said this before. I made a video about this before. If you're not doing exclusive contracts and you're bringing television tapings to the world and you are putting on non-contracted talent on that show, you are bound to lose that talent to another wrestling promotion. You are literally promoting to Triple H and to WWE. This talent that's working your show could be a potential star, and WWE can come in and just offer a little bit more money and sign that person. That's an issue. There's a reason why WWE is not bringing in people who aren't contracted full-time to the company. And there's a reason why when somebody gets brought in to get squashed, they're getting squashed. So that is one thing that I think Tony Khan needs to rethink. I love the fact that Tony Khan is open to giving more people work and stuff like that. But on Dynamite, a show that's getting viewed by a lot of people, in a match where this guy is being able to do some of the most incredible spots, a ladder match, make it make sense. Make this make sense for me, because it doesn't make sense. Perfect example of somebody who got brought in from AEW, NXT's Nathan Frazier. Go back and watch AEW during the pandemic and see what Nathan Frazier was doing on AEW. I'm just saying, historically, this has happened to AEW. Why would you do this? If you're AEW, bring in Commander yourself. He would be a great fit for your company. Probably a better fit for AEW than WWE, quite honestly. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated. Tony Khan and AEW have decided to remove a wrestler, performer. I wouldn't even really call him a wrestler, but they've decided to remove a talent from the show. And that person that's been removed is Rebel. So basically, the idea is that Rebel is no longer being used on television alongside Baker or Hayter because they are baby faces now. And Tony Khan and AEW feel like it didn't work at this point with her being part of the babyface group. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest. When you look at Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter as a heel team, a lot of what was logical and a lot of what was sensical was because of Rebel. Now they're baby faces. I think anytime you can turn a heel baby face, that in its own works. Like, having a heel like Rebel, she could have turned babyface and probably got a big reaction because of the fact that she's been a heel for so long. Does it make or break the show? Absolutely not. I'm not going to sit here and over-exaggerate it like, oh my God, this is such a big deal. It's just interesting that the idea of her not being on television is because it just doesn't make sense because she's not naturally a babyface or something. It just doesn't make sense. And I would say Rebel and Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter were great as heels. So by putting all three of them as baby faces, it probably would have been cool too. But AEW made the decision not to put her on TV anymore. And it's interesting. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'll keep you guys updated with all the wrestling news along the way. And if you want my hottest takes, on everything that's happening in wrestling, not wrestling news, but just my hot takes, check out the link in the description down below and go uncensored.